Imagine if Fantasyland were front and center at the Magic Kingdom. That after funneling through the park gates, instead of being greeted by the Main Street Emporium and confectionery, you found It's a Small World and Peter Pan's Flight. It seems quite bizarre. When Walt Disney first opened Disneyland in 1955, his Main Street USA had few traditional attractions and played the role of an introductory land to the park. Perhaps this environment served as a crowd flow tactic to keep people from bunching up at the entrance, or maybe it's so that all guests have the opportunity to make a few purchases before leaving. Regardless of the reason, the Magic Kingdom's Main Street USA, similar to Disneyland's, hosts few rides apart from the Main Street vehicles and the Walt Disney World Railroad. How odd is it then that, once upon a time, the Magic Kingdom's Main Street USA used to be home to a fully fledged attraction, a D-ticket with a line of its own, and which wasn't primarily a form of park transportation? Can you imagine that? From shortly after the Kingdom's opening in 1971 until 1983, the Plaza Swan boats ran closed-circuit loops around the Central Hub Moat and the Swiss Family Treehouse. It was an attraction that offered experiences and views unlike any other in a Disney Castle park. Here's some general information on the most established version of the attraction. As previously mentioned, the Swan boats traveled through both Main Street USA and Adventureland, and their loading dock was under a small pavilion in the old Magic Kingdom Hub's Rose Garden, seen here across from modern-day Cosmic Rays, formerly the Tomorrowland Terrace. This 17-minute attraction would travel in a clockwise direction, first under the connecting bridge between the Central Hub and Main Street USA, then into Adventureland, around the Swiss Family Treehouse, under the Castle Bridge, and finally back to the loading pavilion. In addition to a pleasant boat ride around the Magic Kingdom Promenade, boat skippers offered common trivia pertaining to visible landmarks along the boat's path, spouting classic banter about the Swiss Family Treehouse's architecture, Main Street's buildings and vehicles, Cinderella Castle, and more. It was a quaint attraction, a mere pedal along the moats and rivers of Central Magic Kingdom. This relatively simple attraction has a surprisingly complex history surrounding it. In years past, sources would often claim these boats to have opened in 1973, but their story actually begins much earlier, months or years before the opening of the Walt Disney World Resort on October 1st, 1971. Depictions of the attraction appear in concept art rendered before the resort's official opening, such as in this early illustration of Tomorrowland's front gates. Unfortunately, instead of making a debut on opening day, the Swan boats were absent from official attraction lists and had no easily discernible presence in the parks. All that alludes to the existence of the Swan boats prior to 1973 are some decorative park map illustrations, along with miscellaneous photos and videos of the attraction that date from park construction up until 1972. These photos uncover some key differences between this early version of the attraction and the more well-known version briefly described prior. Before diving into the mechanics of the Plaza Swan Boats 1.0, let's take a short detour to discuss the essential 1970s Disney World concept of overcrowding. In its inaugural year, the Magic Kingdom was the only theme park at Disney World, and it would remain that way for more than a decade afterwards. The park was absent of many classic, popular, and high-capacity rides and shows that were staples to the Magic Kingdom experience just 4 years later. Opening day Magic Kingdom had no Pirates of the Caribbean, no Tom Sawyer Island, no Space Mountain, no People Mover, Starjets, or Carousel of Progress, no If You Had Wings, and certainly a smaller selection of restaurants and shops. There are far worse problems to have than attracting more customers than one could fit, but the Walt Disney Company, or Walt Disney Productions at the time, needed to up the Magic Kingdom's capacity, and quickly too. The recurring issue of crowd control intertwines with the story of the Plaza Swan boats multiple times, and after they failed to initially open alongside the Magic Kingdom, a large reason for the boat's eventual operation may have been to combat the park's overwhelming crowd levels. The Plaza Swan boats, lacking in expensive props, animatronics, and overall flashiness, were a quick and simple way to help contain the resort's millions of paying guests. Now let's get back to the Swan boats. The first version of the Plaza Swan boats is often forgotten, due in part to poor documentation, and due also to its short, secluded existence on the most northeastern end of Main Street. Yep, there were two Plaza Swan boat loading pavilions, and the first one was situated in front of what became the expanded seating area for the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor. There was a ramp leading down to the loading bay, which was covered by this single, large yellow and white striped canopy, and there were also some swan topiaries planted in the nearby gardens. Two striking differences separate Plaza Swan Boats 1.0 from 2.0. Firstly, the earlier Swan Boats traveled in a counterclockwise fashion, so that the special water-level views of Cinderella Castle were the attraction's opening number, instead of its finale. Secondly, a sizable amount of evidence points to the original Swan Boats operating on a completely different navigation system than that of the second version of the boats. The inaugural model of the Swan Boats followed a rail-guided path instead of using a jet propulsion system, like the second model. This rail-guided system was presumably faulty, which led to its retirement after no more than a year and a half of service. Despite their pavilion's existence and supposed functionality, the Swan Boats were thought to have been largely inoperational at this time. Rare photos of the dock often show it absent of a swan boat, or with benches blocking the dock path's entrance, so many guests may not have even known there was an attraction there. Most reasons for a new Swan Boat Pavilion point towards logistical issues, the most interesting of which is intertwined with the fascinating, yet confusing, developmental changes to the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, Plaza Restaurant, and Plaza Pavilion, or modern-day Tomorrowland Terrace. In short, it is possible that the construction of the Plaza Pavilion, and the necessary redevelopment of adjacent land to the restaurant for accessibility purposes, is what caused the Swan Boats movement across the way to their new home in 1973. However, the most probable reason for this attraction's relocation is the necessity for more queue space. Walt Disney World welcomed many more guests than anticipated, and the Swan Boat 1.0's short queue harbored the potential to overflow into Main Street while hosting only moderate crowds. This, combined with intermittent parades down Main Street and the already tight walkways in front of the ice cream parlor, made capacity problems the main catalyst for a new Swan Boat dock. Once the new dock opened, the old dock became additional seating for the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, and remained that way until the dock's demolition in 2014. The Swan's migration to the Central Hub on May 20th of 1973 brought with it this ornate-looking green-roofed pavilion, and also a more permanent look to the attraction. The queue, which swang and curled through the Magic Kingdom Plaza Rose Garden, had what looks to be more than twice the capacity of the original line. This version of the boat ride also saw the Swan Boats traveling in a clockwise direction, so that the castle was now the grand finale of the attraction, and it brought a brand new propulsion system of free-moving, 360-degree underwater jets that replaced the problematic electric guidance system. Instead of the boats following a tow cable rail, skippers could now steer their vessels themselves with the assistance of two circular wheels, each of which controlled one of two moving jets located below the boat, one in front and one in back. Each natural gas-powered jet had the capability of performing full revolutions around their central axes, making for a versatile, but somewhat unruly watercraft. Boats sometimes spun out of control, comically going in circles, and occasionally making mild collisions with the concrete sidings that contain the castle moat. Despite these possible malfunctions, similar mechanics run the Epcot Resort area friendship boats, which utilize one underwater steering propeller instead of two jets. The Swan Boats have parallels with the Storybook Land canal boats located in Fantasyland and Disneyland, as they are both slow-moving guided boat tours of attractive scenery. As such, some believe that each of the 12 Swan Boats derives their names from those of the canal boats themselves. The 12 original canal boat names are listed here, and the confirmed Swan Boat names are listed over here. Unfortunately, there is no documentation of all 12 Swan Boat names, and some names may have changed over the attraction's 11 years of operation. Referencing their apparent main feature, these watercraft coined the name Swan Boats from the oversized swan ornamentation attached to each boat's bow. Each swan weighed 85 pounds, was 5 feet tall, and had a 7-foot wingspan. Each boat held a capacity of 27 people. That's 26 passengers, all facing inwards from the outskirts of the boat, plus one skipper. Still standing today is the attraction's maintenance bay, which is directly adjacent to the Jungle Cruises Maintenance Center, and is accessible by water through this opening, south of the Swiss Family Treehouse. As time pressed on, the swan boats began getting slowly phased out of the Magic Kingdom. A tried and true overflow attraction, the boats always assumed a seasonal operation status, and they were removed from guidebooks after their 1975 season. One of the 12 boats was converted into a vacuum boat, intended to help keep the swan boat waterways clean. Over time, the fleet of boats was halved into 6 instead of 12, and the skipper position, previously held only by young female cast members, became co-ed in the attraction's final few years of operation. The Plaza Swan boats took their last trips around the Magic Kingdom waterways with little fanfare in August of 1983. Here are 3 potential reasons why the swan boats were retired from service so early into the Magic Kingdom's lifetime, the first being the aforementioned water jet's technical difficulties. The unpredictability of the 360-degree jets resulted in the boats incurring frequent damage, and the attraction's high maintenance costs made it much more expensive to run than Walt Disney Productions thought was worth it. Another probable cause for closure is a familiar predicament. Just as the last boat launch's queue did not have the capacity to contain its waiting guests, neither could this new launch's. An overflowing swan boats line could create massive crowd flow issues for park guests traveling between Main Street, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland, and it could also interfere with parade routes. A more subjective reason for closure is because the swan boats had fulfilled their purpose and were no longer of the same value to the Magic Kingdom as they once were. The environment that the boats opened in was dramatically different from the one they shut their doors in. 11 years after their commissioning, the Magic Kingdom was no longer devoid of many of the smash hits that sustained the park's popularity and ability to absorb crowds through the 80s. Furthermore, Epcot Center opened in 1982, which heavily dedensified crowds and more than doubled the capacity of Walt Disney World's theme parks. Park capacity was now, more or less, a non-issue. At the same time, the boats were problematic, expensive, and potentially did more to restrict guest movement than to allow it. The Plaza Swan boats' days were numbered. After the attraction's closure, each boat was auctioned off on Northern Disney property, and only some of their whereabouts are currently known. As for the Boat Dock Pavilion, it sat, and sat, and sat, and sat, for 31 years. In early 2014, the Walt Disney Company announced a major reimagining of the Magic Kingdom's central hub, and as a part of this reimagining, both the original Swan Boat Dock and the Central Plaza Dock were demolished. By late 2015, the hub redevelopment project was finished, and the story of the Plaza Swan boats officially came to a close. Few remnants and in-park references to the swan boats remain beyond the old maintenance bay and the outline of the removed swan boat track from the 1971 version of the attraction. One is a faux book on a shelf in Adventureland's Jungle Skipper Canteen restaurant, entitled The Grace of a Swan, and authored by Plaza, cleverly enough. And another is a codename reference in the Space Mountain Post show, where a robot monitors a computer with the term MSUSB, or Main Street USA Swan Boats, etched into its screen. Unfortunately, it's near impossible for this attraction to make a return in the foreseeable future. The hub redevelopment project permanently closed the waterways that once connected parts of the Castle Moat and Adventureland's river, and history shows that confining a major attraction to the Magic Kingdom's Central Plaza is a crowd flow nightmare waiting to happen. With that being said, what if the Walt Disney Company did not seal up the only feasible waterway that a resurrected version of the swan boats could travel? Would these boats' return just create another traffic jam in the central hub down the road? Who's to say? No matter what, the Plaza Swan boats of the Magic Kingdom have gone down in Disney history. They are at this point, at least in some aspects, the only proper attraction to ever set up shop on Florida's Main Street USA.